All right, so anatomy is simply structure. Structure, and I'm going to be more specific, of something living. Examples would be naming parts. Parts of the body. And those parts have parts within them. And those parts have parts within them. And then we probably should go ahead and define this as well. You may hear this term used, and I want you to be familiar with it. Gross anatomy. Because it's like, ew. No. Gross, actually in German, means exactly what it's supposed to. Gross in German means large. This is anatomy large enough to be seen without microscopy, without microscopes, without magnifying lenses. And so this is primarily what we're going to be looking at, is gross anatomy. Then there's something also called fine anatomy. And you probably figured out. Also sometimes called microscopic. You need microscopes to see it. Still anatomy, though. There'll be some fine anatomy that we do, but it's a lot easier to study this than this because we can find all these parts. Most of the time, we'll be relying for fine anatomy on like cartoon drawings or slides that professionals have taken, where were able to take a specimen, freeze it, cut it, dye it, and get exactly what we're looking for. It's really tough to find these parts on our own. So most of what we're going to be doing as far as anatomy is this. And then there is physiology. Physiology, well, it ends with ology, which comes from the Greek root word logos, which means to study. So this is the study of function of something living. So that's what physiology is. All right. Go to levels of organization in living things. Levels of organization in living things. And we'll start small and work our way to big. I told you yesterday on that sheet, the universe is made of Legos. Legos called what? Atoms. Okay? No, they're not literal Legos, but they are little building blocks that make up everything. Atoms. Atoms come together to try to go from memory, not from your sheet. Group, what do they come together to make? Molecules. These are atoms grouped together covalently, or bonded together covalently. Completely changes their properties. Really cool stuff. Now, here's a step that a lot of textbooks skip. In fact, I saw one that it looks like I skipped. Some go from molecules to macromolecules, believe they deserve their own level because they're enormous. And maybe they do, but for this purpose, I'm skipping them. This level here is the tiny organs in the cell. I like to call them organelles. And organelles come together to make cells. Now, what's so special about this level? Yeah, this is where life begins. Below this, though these parts, like some of these parts move, and a lot of these parts act like living things in themselves. And some cell theories suggest that like mitochondria and chloroplasts were actually their own living things before they became enveloped by another cell. But below this level, none of these parts are actually living. So this is where life begins. Okay? I don't know why I did an F there. Living. Okay? Everything from here up is living. Maybe I shouldn't have had an arrow. Okay. Groups of cells working together for a common function in the body is called a what? Like Kleenex? Tissues, right. Tissue could be like muscle tissue or nerve tissue. Has anybody ever donated blood in this class? Raise your hand who's donated blood. Oh. Oh my. All right. This is the only bonus I offer for this class. It's worth 10 test points if you give a pint of blood to the Red Cross this semester. Yep. Or try to. Sometimes you'll go and get rejected because you're too small or anemic or something like that. If you go and you suffer the rejection, bring me back the rejection letter. It's worth 10 points. If your ego can take that hit, I don't know, you know. But yeah, if you've donated blood, you are a tissue donor. Okay? Because blood is a tissue. It's groups of cells that are working together for a common function. Go ahead.
What if you're an organ donor on your license?
That's all well and good, but that doesn't count till you're dead.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I'll come back to you.
No. Stay alive. Do it as long as you can. All right. I think it's a great sentiment. I think you should. I think that's wonderful. But yeah. Blood. All right. Tissues come together to make what, gang? Organs. Organs. Organs come together to make organ systems. And finally, organ systems come together to make organism. That's us. Yay. Still don't need really an arrow there. It makes it seem like it like veers off. There's a thing there. Perfect. All right. Try to use some examples of this all the way through. Atoms. Give me an example of an atom. Anybody?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen, sure. Hydrogen atom. How about a molecule? Yeah. Water. Oh, you can see that. Okay. Organelle. Ooh, drawn back on biology for a minute. Yeah. Powerhouse. Cell.
Skin cell?
Sure. Okay. Oh, I'll put all these other ones in parentheses when I follow through here. How about tissue? Blood. Yeah, good example. Sounds like one I would use. Organ?
Lung.
What's that?
Lung.
A lung. Yes. Important organ. Still working, even while you're at rest. Organ systems.
Respiratory system.
Yes, indeed. An organism. I gave you the example of us. Perfect. Okay. So, that is the levels of organization. We are going to, and I'm going to organize this class based on these things, okay? We're going to take a systemic approach. to this. So we're starting with our introduction stuff, and next week we're going to start into the skeletal system, and then muscular, and so on and so forth. So we're going to take a systemic approach going through all of these things. Questions about this stuff? All right.